What happened to us? Do you know the answer to that? If we're ever going to defeat the socialist movement, we have to recognize that. We have to use that strength, that inner strength, to defeat them. And we must, because we will lose our country. We will lose our freedom. We will lose our very way of life if we don't.
Sure. I wanted to ask you this one question, which a lot of our followers and subscribers in Virginia actually care about, which is the cultural war happening these days. You mentioned it earlier a little bit, but what is your opinion on the whole culture war thing going on these days?
Well, you know, my parents, now deceased, they were involved in the church, and they went to sing at the church every week. But one time they were recorded, and it was broadcast on TV.
Oh.
And of course, I recorded that on VHS tape. So who has a VHS machine that even works anymore? But I got one and I digitized it. This was just a couple months ago. And when I did that, I had the occasion to watch it for the first time in many years. And it was very uplifting for me. My point is, after the program was over, they had a newscast. Again, this was recorded in 1986.
Okay. Wow.
Which was 10 years after 76, which was our nation's 200th birthday. And so at that time, in 1986, it was 4th of July. It was the 5th of July, actually, the Sunday afterwards, that they were talking about the day before and how peace had broken out all over the country in a kumbaya movement. They showed on camera blacks and whites and Hispanics all singing and the national anthem, very patriotic. It was in Times Square. The chief of police said, you know, there was absolutely no problem in Times Square. Everybody got along. It was great. I'm just here to tell you, they had the same thing at Capitol Police in Washington, D.C. Everybody just loved the 4th of July ceremony, celebration, all races, all harmonious.
Sure.
What the heck happened to us?
Now you have two. Juneteenth.
What happened to us? Do you know the answer to that? Democrats, hoping to bring the socialism in, they're following the Marxist handbook. And in the Marxist handbook, you find ways to divide and conquer.
Sure.
You divide any way you can. Parents against kids, kids against parents, gays against heterosexuals, blacks against whites.
Exactly.
You know, every way they can think of, divide us. Get us fighting amongst ourselves, and we don't even notice what they're doing. So that is what's happened. Once we reveal that, listen to what I'm saying. We love one another. And we do. We want to live together. We have, after the Civil War, the Civil War too, but after the Civil Rights Movement of the 60s, I lived that. You know, see the scar here? That was from the Civil Rights Movement, okay? I experienced it in a bad way in Pittsburgh. We recovered from that. We got together. We loved one another. We married. I married a Chinese woman. I'm an interracial family too. You know, most of the black people that you see, they're not completely black. There's white in their bloods too. I mean, we've intermarried. We've, you know what? Just put aside for a moment what the media is telling you. How do you feel in your heart? Don't you realize that person next to you, black, yellow, purple, it doesn't matter what color, they're all children of God. We're all related. We all came from the same Adam and Eve.
Yes.
You know, seriously. And God doesn't want us to be infighting. There's no point to it.
Sure.
There's no positive that can come of it. Let it go, just like you did in the 1970s after the Civil Rights. Just let it go. Realize that we are here together. We are stronger together than we are apart. If we're ever going to defeat the socialist movement, we have to recognize that. We have to use that strength, that inner strength, to defeat them. And we must, because we will lose our country. We will lose our freedom. We will lose our very way of life if we don't.
Sure.
And that's how I feel about that.
You know, you mentioned socialism and Marxism. You know, people already know the result and consequence of Marxism and socialism is brutal and it's bad. And it kills people and it's
Millions of people.
Millions of people, right. But why do you think Democrats still want to follow that?
It's real simple. It's one word, power.
Power.
Because the people at the top have everything. If they make what they're trying, global socialist government, the people who are at the top are in charge, are on top of the world.
I see.
And everyone else in the world is subject to them.
And they're anti-Christ and they're anti-American and they're...
We cannot live in that environment. This country is the hope, the last hope of our species, of our planet.
Yes.
And you have to realize that. I mean, they have infiltrated everything. All right, here's a few examples. You know, has been changing since God made the earth.
Yes.
You know, if you know anything about prehistoric, history of this earth, it was all a fire. Do you see fires now? Hello? Earth really evolved into what we see today.
Yes.
It's going to shift and winds change and the tide changes and the ebbs and flows. Those all are going to change no matter what we do. In 1982, I was living in Pittsburgh. My neighborhood experienced mine subsidence. We had just moved into the neighborhood. I was the newest kid on the block, quite literally a kid. And I was nervous. I had just signed a 30-year mortgage. I gathered the neighbors together. We formed Concerned Residents Against Mine Subsidence, CRAMS. And we actually, very short time, got the government to spend enough money to pump cement and fly ash in the mine shafts below our homes. We not only secured our neighborhood of 18 homes, but they say basically all of the South Hills of Pittsburgh was secure because of what we had done. Now, through all that, which took several months, the chief geologist of the U.S. Bureau of Mines sat in my kitchen every morning. He and I, it was his operations center, okay? It was my house. And he and I had many cups of coffee. I have 5 acres not far from here, and it's vacant land. And when you walk through there, especially in the valley, you smell gas. I mean, I understood that natural gas doesn't have a smell. So how is that? He said, well, it's true, natural gas doesn't have a smell, but where there's gas, there's also oil. So it's bubbling up through the oil. It takes on the smell of the oil, so that's what you're smelling.
Wow.
And I said, well, I actually heard from the people I bought it that it had a natural gas well on it at one time, and they capped it. And so tell me about capped wells. I mean, how is the gas coming out if it's capped? He said, well, gas finds a way to come out. Even if you cap it here, it's going to find another way to come out here or there or there. So you can't really cap it 100%. Mother Earth will spew that gas right up through the soil, right into the air, regardless.
I see.
Now think about this Green New Deal the Democrats are pushing. They want to stop the use of fossil fuels. Where is that gas going to go? It's going to go into the air anyway. And what happens when a lightning strike or someone's careless match blows it up, okay? That's how wildfires are started, because natural gas is natural. It comes up. They didn't invite Mother Earth to the meeting in Paris, okay? She was not given an opinion about it. In fact, the largest offender is our oceans, because methane comes up through the oceans all the time. So whether we use it or not, it's still going to affect the ocean. So God has given us heat, energy, gas. It's ours to use. And if we don't use it, it's actually going to be worse. And uncontrolled, it'll burn. Regardless, look at all the mine fires. You know, those are fueled by natural gas that's naturally in the earth. So my belief is they're using the thought, the concept to try to rally and divide. You know, the people who know better and the people who are gullible.
Right.
That's another division. Okay. So you have to use your brain. Follow the science and common sense
and conscience.
Yes. And you'll find your way through. Right now, our government is so filled with corruption. Filled. just to give you an idea of the kind of people we've elected, folks. But don't fear not. There are replacements out there waiting in the wings.
Of course.
In Virginia, in Fairfax, we have a whole slate of great men and women who are ready to take over the Board of Supervisors. Our plan is to reduce taxes immediately. Our plan is to reject the increases that they gave themselves. The current board, they gave themselves a 45% raise. Hello, 45 after they just raised our taxes 50%. Now, I'm telling you, our taxes here, our property taxes went up 50% since we bought the house in 2020.
That's crazy.
So they gave themselves a 45%. I wish I could give myself a 45%, but I didn't. I believe in raises. I believe in merit raises. That's great. You have to deserve it first. They don't. So we'll reject that. We hope to, at some point, earn the privilege of giving ourselves a raise, but not now. And also the crime. Now, we all know that the laws have changed recently with marijuana use. So they're no longer arresting people with marijuana because it's no longer against the law or chargeable.
You smell it everywhere.
Tell me about it. And it's not a good idea, but anyway, it is the law. We also know that shoplifting is rampant right now. I mean, it's just everywhere because...
Even in Virginia?
Oh, yeah, because they know that, first of all, we're down by 200 police officers. And the Board of Supervisors won't honor an increase. We're the lowest paid police force in all of Virginia. It's ridiculous. And yet they're expecting people to apply for jobs. Hello, if they want to get in the police force, they go somewhere else that pays them a decent salary. God bless the people who are still on the job here in Fairfax County that aren't making that much money. And they are certainly not getting our respect either. They deserve it and more money. But the truth is, shopliftings aren't being reported because the police don't come. And even if they come, the prosecutors don't prosecute. They're just let right back out again. So, you know what Giant, the supermarket, just announced? They're going to have only one door unlocked. Only one door. They're going to lock all the other doors because they can't monitor it. People are just grabbing stuff and walking out the door.
Oh my God.
And they can't. What has happened is now you don't have shoplifting. You don't have marijuana arrests. It looks like our crime has gone down. In fact, my opponent, who is in charge of the department for Fairfax County and law enforcement, he's spouting record numbers. Oh, we decrease of crime. The truth is, ask the chief of police. He'll tell you high crimes have gone seriously up, 15, 16%.
Wow.
Rapes, murders, carjackings, house invasions are all through the roof. That kind of crime has got to stop.
Yes.
We will, under our administration, under my administration, under the replacements administration, we will bring an end to that. And I promise you that. Not on my watch. It won't happen. The school board, terrible policies that the parents are all upset about. Loudoun County, Fairfax County are very much the same. They're following the woke agenda.
Right.
Not on my watch. I asked Pat Harity, who's the only decent guy on the board, I asked him, what control will the supervisors have over the school board? They can control the school board meetings. They can't control my office.
Of course.
I will call them into my office, and if they don't come, the media will hear about it.
Wow.
Okay? And when they do come, they had better behave. Okay? Or I will see to, that they get detention.
Wow. How can we donate to your campaign?
Thank you for asking. I should tell you we're having a major soiree of all donors to my campaign, past and present. If you donate to BaronGoodNews.com, that's BERAN, goodnews.com. They're right there. Okay. You can go there, press the donate button. You will be invited to come to our party here. We have music. We have live music. We have catered barbecue dinner. We have open bar, and we'll have all of the replacement candidates here in a town hall kind of fashion. I have some guest celebrities coming as well, so it'll be a fun time.
It's good. When is the election?
November 7th.
How do you vote?
Well, you have to be registered, and you go to you request a mail-in ballot from the Election Bureau of Fairfax, or you simply go. There's early balloting as early as September 22nd, so you can go to a poll place. And there are a number of them. County office is the best one, the Fairfax Government Center. But then on November 7th, all the polls will be open. From 6 in the morning to 7 p.m.
Do you recommend the same day voting or early voting time?
Vote early, vote often. I used to think vote on election day because that's the traditional way of doing it, and it doesn't give the other guys a chance to catch up. But because the Democrats really
Exactly.
they monopolize the early voting, I just say,
course.
vote whatever convenient for you.
Even mail-in or early,
Absolutely.
whatever you can do, you should.
Yeah, just vote. That's all that's important is vote. Everyone needs to vote. Early voting on the Democrat side has been pretty light so far. And I should also say the primary election for Democrats is June 20th. It's coming up this Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
And for the first time, Virginia is an open state, so you don't have to be the party of the electorate to vote in primary. So
Okay.
even a Republican can go and vote in the Democratic primary. I didn't know that until recently.
And also the other way around.
Yes, yeah. But right now there is no Republican primary. The Republican Party in Fairfax County decided to caucus instead of hold a primary.
I see.
So I'm already all the way straight through to November.
Oh,
And certainly all the other candidates are. But it used to be taboo for a Republican to vote in the Party. They have decided very recently, like yesterday, that it doesn't matter. You can go and vote. They almost even encourage it
Wow.
kind of off the record. So I haven't been to Korea, but I've been to Asia. I've been to China. I have a lot of Asian friends. In fact, for actually quite a few years, I sponsored even Asian students on a student exchange.
wow.
And from Korea. And I'm telling you, I know how much you love this country. I know how much you love what America stands for. And do everything you can. Spread the word. Get people to realize what the other side is trying to do. They're trying to destroy us, destroy this country in favor of a government. They're not here to help us. They're really here to destroy us, and we've got to stop it in every way we can. Now, looking at the history of the world and other countries that socialism has succeeded to take over, we may not be able to stop them ultimately. We just may not be able to, but we can sure as hell slow it down. And that's what I want to do. I ask for your support, and I want you to help me to slow it down too. At least another generation or two.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for today. 오늘 이렇게 너무 귀한 분의 메시지를 잘 들었습니다, 여러분. 폴 베런, 우리 페어팩스 버지니아 카운티에 있는 이제 보드 오브 슈퍼바이저라고 한국어로는 감리위원회라고 하더라고요. 이 카운티의 모든 것들을 다 감찰하는 시의회 같은 그런 역할을 하는 기관이고요. 폴 베런 우리 후보님을 향해서 여러분들 많은 응원과 또 후원 부탁드리고, 여러분들이 하실 수 있다면 여기 barongoodnews.com 가셔서 여기도 나올 텐데요. 많이 후원해 주시고, 도네이션 하고 싶으시면 여기 웹사이트 들어가셔서 클릭하셔서 도네이트 해주시고, 하시면 이 특별한 베런 와인도 주신다고 합니다. 트럼프 대통령의 아이디어를 따서 만든 베런 아이디어와 또 이 베어 인형 가지고 싶은 여러분들은 언제든지 도네이션 해주시고, 또 이 버지니아 페어팩스 한인들이 굉장히 많으세요. 이곳의 교육과 또 앞으로의 발전을 위해서 여러분들의 많은 응원 부탁드리겠습니다. 오늘 영상이 좋으셨고 앞으로 영상이 기대되신다면 구독과 좋아요 그리고 알람 설정까지 부탁드립니다. 안녕히 계세요. 바이.